Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the Week 13 NFL Sunday picks where we will talk about the games remaining after the Thanksgiving holiday. I'll talk about each and every game and give you some props and some best bets that I do like. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe right down below. Also, feel free to hop on over to the Discord. We will be talking NFL bets there all day today, as well as on my X page. I hope you guys are all following on that platform. Links down below for that. Let's get into it. All right, we're going to use Outlier to talk about what's going on in these games. The first one being within Arizona. Minnesota coming into this game 9-2 on the season. And this is an interesting spot because the Cardinals, right, getting a lot of love, and that's one where after their performance last week, I don't really see it. I don't agree with it. Cardinals are 7-4 ATS, and the Vikings 7-3 respectively against the number. This is a game where I do like Minnesota quite a bit at home. I also think that we do to get a better performance out of Justin Jefferson. Also, I do like the props for Marvin Harrison going over. That's where I'm going to be at for this matchup. 4 points was a lot to turn down for Arizona. That number has since moved to 3.5. It's a stay away game for me. I like the Harrison and the Justin Jefferson props. One thing about Justin Jefferson I do want to share with you guys, and this is where we're going to look into the better part of Outlier as we go into touchdown scores. This is something worth noting. Now, Jordan Addison has been getting into the end zone more so, right? But as we look into Justin Jefferson going over a half touchdown, okay? Let's just look at this from the bar chart. He has not scored a touchdown in his last 5 games. Now, that's where I look to see some value against Arizona. I know Arizona does not give up a lot of touchdowns to receivers, but that's something where the Arizona Cardinals coming into this game, that's where I think Justin Jefferson is an outlier. I would not apply him to that logic. He's pretty much able to score on anyone, any team, any given Sunday. And as we look into Justin Jefferson and the targets, this is something where they're there, okay? 5 red zone targets. That's where you look into the previous games. He's at 4, 8, 5, 4, and 5. So he's getting the chances, always has the chance for a big play. So those are players I like in their props, receiving, as well as anytime touchdowns. That will be Justin Jefferson and Marvin Harrison Jr., okay? Basically, he's due. And if you get plus money on Justin Jefferson right here at plus 115, I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. Next game is the Chargers and the Falcons. This is a bad play for the Falcons. Chargers on a little bit of a short week. Coming on the road, -1. You can take the money line if you like them, -118. That's kind of where I would be. It's Chargers or nothing for me against the Falcons. I think Herbert is clicking with what Jim Harbaugh and company is able to do. I know they're coming off a loss. This is one of my favorite plays of the weekend where I do like the Chargers quite a bit, but I'm not going to play it, okay? I'm not going to play it. I think there's better bets out there. If we want to talk a little bit about kind of the Chargers, Justin Herbert, he has been playing very efficient at the quarterback position, and it's where I do lean very heavy on the Chargers. It's something where if you do form a teaser, it's very hard to go across that 0 and lose that value, but I do think the Chargers get this one done outright, but I don't mind taking them in a teaser spot if you want to take them +5 as well. Okay, next one is Indianapolis and the New England Patriots. This is a stay-away game as well. If we want to talk about the numbers a little bit more so, you got to kind of look and understand the Patriots with Drake May. Different football club, all right? A little bit more so of the handle is on the Colts, but in terms of just the spread, it's the opposite, right? That's where we're going to see the money on the Indianapolis Colts, and I think that this is a game that does give way to the under as well. 42.5 is that total. Basically, that's where I'm at, okay? I do think Stevenson gets a lot of carries. I think we're going to get a lot of running of the football, and I also think Richardson's going to run the football, so clock will be drained. I would lean towards the under. That's just a lean, so under 42.5 in New England and Indianapolis. I don't like a side any more so than the other. If anything, I would lean on the Patriots side of the game. I'm just not comfortable taking the Patriots here, especially when the number has moved a little bit. But Patriots +3 would be the angle I would shoot for, but the better bet in this matchup is going to be taking rushing carries over for Richardson and the likes of Ramondre Stevenson, but I will lean towards the under 42.5. Next game is Seattle and the New York Jets. That's where we're going to look at the Jets hosting the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are that team right now, okay? They're a team in the NFL that I would not want to be playing. And quite frankly, the Jets, they are pretty much donezo, right? You look at kind of how they lost to the Indianapolis Colts, lost to Arizona in blowout fashion. They were able to squeak one out against Houston. But across the board, guys, they've dropped 4 of their last 5, 3-8 against the spread and 3-8 on the season overall. It's a Seahawks bet for me. Okay, I do think this number at -1.5 does have some value. Taking the Seahawks money line at -108, that's probably how I would lean to. Also, Seahawks are a great dance partner and a teaser as well. Okay, but there is a prop bet in this game that I do like quite a bit, and that's going to be in the form of longest reception. Okay, we've been hitting that a lot within the ones that we do pick on, and this is going to be one where we look into receiving. We will go for the longest reception within the likes of DK Metcalf. Okay, it's a little bit down so on the odds board, but 21.5 -120 at BetMGM. That's going to be the bet I take. This is hit in basically 8 straight. So we have gotten over that longest reception. I do think he gets one for 20 plus, and I also think that there's an avenue where he does break away, especially with the Jets playing man coverage, getting behind that defense and getting a long grab. Over 21.5 for DK Metcalf is my best prop bet I have to offer. Okay, next, let's look down the board. We're going to get down there, and we can find the Tennessee Titans and Washington Commanders. I don't think Jaden Daniels is healthy in terms of running the football still. His throwing is a little bit off. I know that what they were able to do last week, it's one where you kind of have to look into it. The Commanders 7-5, 7-4 against a number, and then you can see that week against Dallas, losing in, I don't even know if it was overtime. I think it was overtime. It was overtime. But how they lost, that crazy ending to that game, right, with what they had basically within Terry McLaurin within that touchdown, and then, obviously losing 34-26 against the Cowboys. This is one where we got to talk about kind of Tennessee being a value play here. I lean towards the under 45 would be my best bet if I was going to give you guys one. Other than that, I'm staying away from this game. I don't trust Jaden Daniels right now in the spot, and I also don't trust Will Levis to do things the way that he's been doing it in back-to-back weeks. Tennessee seems to be the side plus the points, but my best bet will be on the under 45 in the matchup between the Titans and the Commanders. Okay, Jags and the Texans. This is going to be an interesting one for touchdown markets. If you do like some bets here, Joe Mixon obviously is a great choice to get into the end zone. And also what we're able to see within that Jacksonville receiving core, Evan Ingram, right? We're going to go under within his receiving yards. Evan Ingram as a whole, this is just a bad matchup. Houston does not give up a lot of points, fantasy points or receiving yards to tight ends. Also, when we talk about the Jaguars, you have to kind of understand their receiving core and who I like on that side. And the biggest one here, okay, is going to be in form of a player that a lot of people are fading, okay? And this is kind of where I'm going to share with you guys my favorite receiver fantasy-wise has been Brian Thomas Jr., and I think this is one where a lot of people think it's a bad matchup going against the Texans, but he is one that I always kind of favor going in the end zone. He does get a lot of those red zone targets, so a little contrarian play for me considering that everybody is fading Brian Thomas Jr., but for me, I think this is something where we do get a potential for a huge game. This is a stay-away spot for me as well. I don't trust Houston. I know that they are probably going to command this game, but this is kind of a divisional one that things happen, and if I was going to give you guys my best bet, it would be in form of receivers and Mixon anytime touchdown. I'd like Brian Thomas Jr. as well as Nico Collins, but this is a spot where some of the arguments can be made for unders in all of those players. So kind of a weird spot for the Texans. I'm going to stay away from this game as a whole. Okay. Next one, we're going to travel up to the AFC North. This one will be played in Cincinnati between the Steelers and the Bengals. It's hard to turn down the points with the Steelers. So give me the +3 for Pittsburgh. This is one of my favorite bets. I do think that we get a potential for a running of the football very extensively, and that's where I'm going to also lend towards Najee Harris, taking the over in his rush attempts. Simply put, the Bengals' run defense stinks, and this is just a way too low number where Pittsburgh's going to look to control the line of scrimmage and the clock on the road. This is hitting 70% of his last 10 games, over 14.5. I understand the workload share that he does have with Jaylen Warren. But this is something where you look at the last 5 guys, 21, 19, 21, 18, and 16, and all you have to do is get over 14.5. So I'm taking the over 14.5 within Najee Harris in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Also a play on Pittsburgh +3. Great teaser partner as well, getting the Steelers up to 10 points on the road. That's if you want to take it in a 7-point teaser. One of my best bets. Okay. Rams, Saints, obviously Kyron Williams, anytime touchdown scorer. You can look into kind of the narrative here with Taysom Hill. The Saints are depleted, okay? And we're going to talk about this game because the majority of the money is on the Saints versus the bets, okay? I agree with it. I think we get points. I think that Saints-Rams sets up for a high-scoring affair, albeit the Saints are a little bit crippled. They don't have their entire receiving core. However, I am going to bet on the Taysom Hill train to continue. Now, what I'm talking about in this one is going to be rushing and receiving because he does have the option to get both, and we are going to find this here on Outlier where I'm going to show you guys both of these lines, and the one that I'm going to be targeting is over 59.5 rushing and receiving. And if you look at kind of the number, he has hit this in only 30% of his last 10 games, but this has not been when the Saints have been banged up, okay? So definite, clear difference within his workload. And if you see last game, I know it's kind of an outlier against Cleveland, 188 yards. That was 138 rushing and 50 receiving. Going against the likes of the Rams. The Rams give up pretty much bottom of the pack in rushing yards allowed and receiving yards allowed. So I don't love it, but I think this is a great play. Just playing on the Taysom Hill narrative where he's going to have a big workload in this game. And I think that they do get him going early. I think that he has the potential to break one big run, hit this number in itself. Also, I think just through the course of the game, direct snaps, end arounds, just flats, catching the ball in the flats, even over the middle. I think Taysom Hill is a great candidate to get over 59.5 rushing and receiving. That's going to be one of my best bets as well. Next, let's go down the odds board a little bit further. We could see the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Hard not to bet against the Panthers, to bet against the Buccaneers. I know they're laying 6 on the road in a divisional spot. For me, guys, this is pretty much cut and dry. We are going to go Bucky Irving over 2.5 receptions, -132. It's a little bit low. I think that even though they're playing the Panthers, unless this one gets out of hand early, I do see the likes of Bucky Irving catching a lot of balls out of the backfield. Get him going. He's a great receiver. It's a clear-cut option for Baker Mayfield, so I'm taking Bucky Irving over 2.5 receptions in this spot. Also, I do like the over, okay? If we want to talk about kind of where we're at within this game script, it's pretty much cut and dry. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 16 out of 24 games. They have covered the spread, so hitting almost 70% against the number. Also, the over has hit in the last 75% of the games against bottom 10 scoring defenses. So I do see an avenue where this one goes over 46 points. So give me the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers over 46 for this matchup. Okay. And then next we have 2 games to talk about to round out this week's betting. Philadelphia and the Baltimore Ravens, probably the highlight game for me. Unless you like some snow football on Sunday night, that's where the Eagles are traveling to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Ravens are that team, right? But the Philadelphia Eagles have been the best defense pretty much 9 weeks in a row. It's been pretty much really exciting to watch. Maybe a sucker bet, maybe not, but I will scoop up some value. I'm going to take the Eagles +3. Hard to bet against Lamar in prime time, but we get a 4:25 kickoff in the cold. Saquon's going to be running the football very efficiently like he always is, catching balls out of the backfield as well. Trusting that Philadelphia defense too. Eagles +3. I think that the Ravens have a lot of vulnerabilities that, quite frankly, in a cold weather game. I know it's going to be hard to stop Derrick Henry, but it's also going to be hard to stop Saquon. So this one kind of sets up for an over. One of the bigger point totals of the week, 50.5. So lean towards the over. Also Philadelphia +3. That will be one of my best bets on the card. All right. And then the last game, 49ers and Bills, we could look into kind of, and also a little bit of side note on the Eagles game. Anytime touchdown score for Jalen, that's kind of where Hurts, I think, does get in the end zone. He hasn't done that in, last week he did not get into the end zone. So usually it's kind of a zigzag for me. If he's doing it, every single week, I like it. And if he's not doing it every single week, I do like for that bounce back game. So if we're going to go Jalen Hurts touchdowns, you can see it right here, guys. This is where we look at it, hitting 5 in a row before last week. So 70% clip in his last 10 games. Jalen Hurts -115 anytime touchdown. I do like in a cold weather game quite a bit. Okay. And then that last game on the card between the Bills and the 49ers, this is where you see a lot of the handle is on the Bills money line, 97% of the money. So laying the Bills, not trusting the 49ers, but when we talk point spreads, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit evened out. I know it's pretty much heavily weighted towards the Bills. So you got to ask yourself, are you comfortable with the Bills winning at home? I am. It's a snow game. I do think we get some points. Snow games without wind usually lend towards higher totals. Especially within the Bills. They're used to playing in it. The 49ers are kind of struggling right now, in my opinion. I don't have a official play in this game, but if I did give you guys a lean, it would be using Buffalo in a teaser down to basically a pick 'em, and I do have a shade towards the over. If it drops to 44 because of the cold, I think this is where I'm going to go a little contrarian and take the over, albeit 57% of the bets are on the under and 76% of the public money on the over. So it's a stay away for me. I know it's the primetime Sunday night football game. Quite frankly, I just don't want to bet a cold weather, cold snow game in Buffalo, especially with Purdy coming back. Is he healthy? Is he not? Also, the 49ers are just kind of banged up as a whole. And as this unit looks to play in an environment where it does kind of favor the Buffalo Bills, it's something where I just don't trust the 49ers enough on the road. And I'm more confident taking the Bills down to a pick 'em in a teaser versus taking the 49ers up and grabbing 12 or 13 points, depending on if you want to do a 6 or 7 point teaser. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. Those are my best bets. I'll pull it up for you guys here on the screen. Make sure you guys all like, comment, and subscribe on your way out if you have not already done so. This is kind of where we're going to get into the overall plays as a whole. And I don't have a way to show it to you guys, but just a quick recap. Metcalf over 21.5, longest reception. Bucky Irving over 2.5 receptions. Najee Harris, 14.5 rushing attempts. Taysom Hill over 49.5 rushing and receiving. Philly +3. Tampa over 46. Seattle -110 on the money line. And the Pittsburgh Steelers +3 will round out my card. All right. Appreciate you guys. Good luck with your picks, and we'll see you all tomorrow as we get into Monday and the week in NBA and another week in football. Cheers.